Hello class, my name is Inaruda and I'm here to talk about one of our writings for our 502 class course, excuse me. So please excuse me, I'm not really used to being on a webcam. I'm always used to be talking in person, so it just kind of feels different for me not having a live audience. But let's get into it. So for this specific writing, this is in Module 5, titled Tunnel Vision, Brunel Thames Tunnel Project and Narratives. International Journal of Project Management, 31-5, page 692 through 704. This is written by Marshall N. and Benson M. in 2013. So the beginning of this writing explains how project narratives are in different ways are reconstructed. Project managers tend to look at past projects to create more ideas and strategies on methodologies on approaches before implementation, or even calculating what the possible outcome could be because of past projects. So for this, it is kind of just used as a reference for project managers to look at while building their approaches. We must consider that this is coming from different narratives that are telling different stories and different perspectives. So it creates a diverse environment of project management through theoretical and philosophical concepts. So we're also measuring the compatibility and how do we use the concepts for our own constructions, for our own projects, and how do we integrate them. So that's the beginning of the writing, and the authors has written about 5 different disclosures that have been in place explaining the Thames Tunnel project, which was built in 1843 and started in 1825, completed by Brunel. So I just want to get into the first disclosure explained into the writing. The first disclosure is about techno-rational concepts on this interpretation of how the project was done. It explains the miners' works and their independent abilities. It talks about how they are picked for their skills and what quality they can provide. Also, it talks about the function of science technology used during that time period to complete the project. And also, it is focused on how the workers are conducting their roles, and what their job was using the materials provided and how they're built. So everyone had a job to do, a specific job to do to complete the project. The second disclosure explains the practice. So we're looking into a view of practice as interpretation for the same project. And it talks about trial and error and problem solving, as things were gone wrong and there was system issues with the project. It was failures, and there was experimentations being implemented to correct these failures to overall have a solution to continue the project. There was issues at hand for the project and responses. So that's basically, there's a problem, there's a solution. So what I interpret from this second disclosure is the concept of dealing with problems and learning from them and creating solutions in a project. And in that specific part of the writing, it explains that the issues that were at hand was solved, and there was a continuation of the project being done from that concept of problem solving. So tapping into the third disclosure, is people, things, and ideas explained in the writing, as it explains Brunel's background and his skills and his abilities and his problem-solving skills and logistics. Also explaining his ideas of problem solution and tools being used. Now, I feel like this part of the writing also focuses on operations management, as it's more personalized and logistically pointed at like a way of how the project manager can have the ability to produce ideas and create structures to get the job done from beginning to end. And then our fourth disclosure is politics. This is when it really gets interesting, because it is mainly about like stakeholders, investors, calculating if he was the right person to do the job as the project manager. This is really financially focused, as he was able to convince shareholders of the project and investors that the project is well, and also asking for funding for continuance of the project. There has been a lot of pressure from directors explained in this part of the writing, and promises were made, and so it seems like there's a lot of interaction with upper management and investors with the project manager himself to get the project done. And the fifth disclosure is society, as social relations are explained to be important for that project specifically. There was a lot of visitors that would come and watch the bridge being built, and for that there was opportunities made for like a public viewing. Even there was admissions charged to the public. Also in consideration, there was public opinions made that shifted the project to different directions. There's also suggestions from experts that weren't conducting the project themselves, they were just only prospectors. Also, it explains the hazards of the bridge and how it affected the citizens as for crossing the bridge, or even viewing the construction itself. The main issue for the project specifically was it was built because there was traffic problems. After years of completion, there was still a social issue. It explains after, when the bridge was built, concerning like maintenance and how the public was affected. And so, in conclusion of this writing, we must understand that when we interpret different aspects of a project and its history, we have to understand who's telling the story and what type of lens is being used, as we have to measure our own lens to pick out specific traits and narratives that will help us, that is relevant to the task at hand. And also, what is the accuracy of the readings that we're looking into, explained by the writers. There's different narratives. How is the narratives being told? Is this something that is relevant? It keeps talking about relevance between the project manager and the interpretation of the different historical researches on older projects. So it just matters what practice that the current project manager is doing that creates the relevancy of interpretation for the information being provided from the historical or recorded projects, or current. Sorry about that. So it seems like in the end of the writing and in the conclusion, the writer explains that as project managers, we're using open-mindedness thinking to be open to multiple expertise and incorporating inclusiveness. So it's just very repetitive throughout this writing that a project manager must understand how and what the project of like the past project, the writing of the project is being told, and what is intended to be taken out of it. So that's pretty much what I got. Sorry for a little stutter. Webcam, doing my best. I just hope everyone enjoys this reading because it is very insightful on how we need to conduct our research on our current projects, looking at other projects that has been recorded and how we should view them and incorporate them through integration of our own relevancy for our project. I hope everyone has a great day, and thank you so much for watching this.